Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Alright guys, welcome to War Room episode number 15, also known as War Room Pain in the Ass for Raffle Waffle. So there's a bit of a story behind this one. I'm not at my desktop, as you can probably see by my lovely background. So I have a bunch of help tonight. Vercinex is running the stream, and Siriwaffles, my co-host, is going to be helping me out, making sure I'm staying on track, because I'm running off a laptop tonight. But we got a great show, got a lot of info, got a lot of new stuff to talk about, so let's go around, get shout-outs going, and then get the show started. So, starting with my wonderful co-host, fresh off of stomping my team, Siriwaffles. Introduce yourself.
Zary, your mic's not coming through on my end.
Oh god.
Sorry if I'm on my laptop as well and I was pushing my normal push to talk, which is different down here.
That's all good. Alright,
okay.
Take it away, man.
Starting again. Hello everyone, I'm Siriwaffle from SJR, Steel Jaguar Gaming. I mainly play lights, and like Raffle said, I am co-hosting for this episode.
Being a boss, like always. And then from QQ, we have Carp. Why don't you introduce yourself, man?
How's it going? It's Carpenter from QQ, Team Arhad group lead, and all-around nice guy and workhorse for QQ Mercs.
Oh, and sure do we love you. And for the first time on the show, we have Serious Table. Introduce yourself, man.
I'm Serious Table, administrator of Outreach HPG, and if it's a bad mech, I probably play it.
And then the guy who I really have to thank for running my stream tonight, we have Vercinex.
Vercinex, director of operations tonight, and unfortunately not playing anything because my MWO would not boot tonight, so I didn't even get to participate.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, it sucked.
And then an old name but slightly new face, we have Han Solo of BSK.
That's right, I'm Han Solo, BSK's Warden Company. I primarily run lights as well, and I'm glad to be back.
And it is good to have everybody. Now, we have a ton to talk about. Obviously, it's been a big week. But let's start with just the patch notes from this week. So let's talk about, everything that was in it, what it means for the game, etc. So, patch notes. Oh my god, this is so weird for me, because I'm just looking at, my screen instead of the overlay and everything. Okay, so patch notes. So, a lot of things in this patch. Obviously, UI 2.0 was the big one, but there were a lot of other things that we think are probably more important than that, that affect the competitive scene quite a bit more. And so we're going to start with the new mech, the Firestarter. We called it, obviously. I don't think there was much doubt about what mech it was going to be.
Ignore my horribleness.
Oh shit, I totally forgot to tell you about that. Yeah, you have to reset it after you start the stream, because OBS loves canceling windows. It's okay, don't worry about it. Okay, so, patch notes. Let's talk about the Firestarter. First of all, how many of you bought one?
Me.
I got one.
Yep.
Alright.
It has DACA. I like it.
And so, Smurfsy has the builds up, and I believe there's a 7 energy with dual AMS, there's an 8 energy, a 6 energy, 2 ballistic, and then, of course, the Ember, the hero mech, has 4 ballistic and 4 energy. What do you guys think about these mechs?
There, it's up. I fixed it.
Let me give a bit more of a quick detailed rundown. 2 important things is that, no, none of them have ECM, unless something changes in the next 2 weeks. They all have a 295 engine cap, which is 150.2 kilometers after tweak, and they all have a max of 6 jump jets. So really, handling-wise, unless quirks come out, they're all going to be pretty much the same. So the difference is going to be in what sort of weapons they can take.
And so, so I didn't buy one, obviously, because A, I'm not a light pilot, and B, I'm poor. But I've heard a lot of people touting, you know, what they seem to think of as a fairly good new light mech and kind of a game changer in terms of lights. I've heard that they're not as good versus other lights, but they're great against heavier mechs. Is that true? Anyone?
The guys that have been running it the last day have really found it to be, they like it better than the Jenner in some cases, because when you're jumping and shooting, you're able to track better with those arms, whereas the Jenner, it's essentially locked to the torso as far as the ability to shoot at angles to the side when you're in midair. So I look forward to seeing the three per side arm-mounted laser variant, because I think that one has the best potential for competitive play. But we'll have to see. It seems like it's good at torso twisting and spinning the damage around, because you don't have the big CT that the Jenner has.
Yeah, I think the survivability on these is way better than the Jenner, because you're not taking so much CT damage. It seems it's a lot easier to spread it across the arms, and you will eventually lose the arms, but you know, you're still alive while that's happening. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's hard to tell right now without you being able to elite them and seeing exactly how agile they are and how, you know, heat efficient that it can be. But it looks really good.
Has anybody taken one, like one-on-one or pseudo one-on-one with a Jenner to see how it performed?
Yeah, I have, but it's just hard right now because it's not agile enough. The Jenner's able, you know, Elited obviously is able to really get behind you a lot easier than it will be whenever you get Elited.
Yeah, those double basics really make a difference.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, the one thing, I think the torso twist, one of the guys was saying the torso twist isn't as good as the Jenner, but keep in mind it's still only basic, and there could be one of the variants that might have a greater degree of torso twist as well.
That's a good point, because
Not to mention those arms will swing out too.
Yeah, there is one that is like strictly worse than the other one in terms of hard points. So the quirks. I couldn't remember the word there for a second. The quirks should make that mech slightly different, and it would probably have maybe an extra module slot too. So we'll see. Siri, I know you have something to say about this. So
yeah, I'm actually just curious, which one are you saying is just straight up worse?
Isn't it the one with only? I'll have to open up Smurfsy here really quick.
The one with 7 energy hardpoints?
Yeah.
Well, the one with 7 energy hardpoints, it's actually interesting because it gets double AMS, and that's actually kind of potent when you're fighting against people with streaks. Like
Streak
right now,
NATO.
right now, if you have 1 or 2 AMS in an area, like not right on top of each other, but still kind of in firing range, it greatly reduces streak damage. But if you end up with all of those light mechs carrying 2, it would be very well. It would do very well fighting against streak mechs.
See, but then you're committing. You know, normally you commit 1.5 tons for 1 AMS, so you're looking at 3 tons potentially, because you're probably going to want to have 2 tons of AMS maybe if there's a lot of streaks or LRMs in the game.
That's a very specific. That's if you know it's coming. Otherwise, you could be wasting 3 tons against a build that has no missiles.
It's not actually 3 tons. It would be 2 tons as well. I guess if you want to take 2 tons of ammo, but the AMS launcher itself is only another half ton.
Half ton, yeah. So
and
1.5 tons, let's call it.
I personally find that when I'm fighting streak mechs, if it's just streak mechs, not lerms raining everywhere, then I actually get out of battles with like 700-800 ammo left. And if it was like when the option comes in to use only a half ton of ammo, I'd probably do that on my Jenner.
Oh, that's right. They mentioned being able to do half tons.
So I think for an additional half ton investment, I mean, currently my Ember has 4 jump jets. I just cut it down to 3, toss an AMS on.
And you're running max engine, or are you running a smaller engine?
Max.
Yeah.
I just want to know who's got the balls to put 8 mediums on the Firestarter A? That's all I want. No, I'm just kidding.
I think it's gonna be ridiculous. Like, you run the Hunchback with 8 medium lasers, standard 275, and it's got awesome convergence, so that like every laser is counting.
Mm-hmm.
And you have, I think it's 17 or 18 double heat sinks, and you still run so hot with that. And
Yeah.
on the Firestarter, you maybe get 11 or 12.
I think I built it, and it was like 12 double. You get 1.3 heat efficiency, is what it boils down to. I built it just for kicks and because I was bored and I'm not at my desktop. But yeah, it will be hot. But the fact that you could do 40 damage in an alpha, you sneak behind somebody with that, it could be deadly.
It would be pretty hilarious, yeah. I think more reasonable would be just running the 6.
Oh yeah, I mean it'll definitely be the redheaded stepchild of the Firestarter builds, but it'll be the funny redheaded stepchild.
In any case, what I was going to mention earlier was that the twist side to side for me right now isn't the issue. It's the yaw. Wait, nope. We went over this. Pitch is up and down, isn't it?
Pitch is up and down.
Pitch is up and down. This was something we had trouble with during the last showcast.
That's true.
But the up and down pitch is
The
only
Siri doesn't
15
fly
degrees. Is only 15 degrees, and there are no pilot skills that increase that.
That is true.
Siri, just imagine that pitch is like music. The pitch goes up and down.
But I play War Thunder so much. You think I would know this by now?
Musica.
Hey, you play games other than MechWarrior? I didn't even fucking know that shit.
Secrets into SJR. Play War
We
Thunder.
play War Thunder to get better at aiming. Words out now, motherfucker. Everyone's gonna start beating you. No, I'm just kidding.
Do you think lag shooting in MWO is bad? Wait until you punt like a full 3-second burst into a plane and it's taking no damage.
Oh no. Friend, I've played Just Cause 2 multiplayer. I know what shooting at lag is like. For anybody who hasn't played Just Cause 2 multiplayer, go download it. It's free, and then you'll understand. I don't play lights. I own commandos because I bought a 2D back when ECM was the most overpowered thing in the whole world, and streaks did 2.5 damage with splash, and I would just roll train in that. So I own commandos and like a founder's gener, but I'm actually gonna buy these. I'm gonna buy the Firestarters because they look like a ton of fun. So personally, I'm excited. They look cool. I probably won't buy the Ember, but the rest of them are gonna be fun.
I think my initial assessment is that the ones to get would be the Ember, the K, and the S. I don't think the H and A are going to be worth it.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like the H is going to get outclassed by the Ember. It's 6 energy, 2 ballistic, but 2 of the energy in the torso, and those will be really hard to work into the rotation. And 2 MG alone is going to have that same sort of effect as 4 machine guns. And the A is 8 energy, like the K, except it's 4 torso, 4 arms, whereas the K is 6 arms, 2 torso.
Oh yeah, I was talking out of my ass earlier when I thought the 7 energy one was the bad one. The A is the bad one because it's got worse hardpoint layout. And the torso arm twist is the same. Yeah, sorry, I was completely making fun of myself then. But yeah, you're right, the A is going to be the bad one because I forgot that the K has not only 3 in the arms, but 2 in the CT. That'll be interesting. They look cool. We can talk about that. I love the art team. They make really fucking great looking mechs. Did anybody see that picture on the Reddit of the Firestarter next to the koala?
No.
Please, that was a drop bear.
It was funny. I laughed. It wasn't super close, but it was good enough.
Anybody have any last thoughts on this?
Nope.
I was just gonna move it along myself. Turrets. Let's talk about that quick.
I have yet to drop in a match with a damn turret.
So I have been playing all day, like in between spending time. So I'm at my girlfriend's house with like her family and all that shit. So I'm doing stuff. I'm like busy. I'm playing on my laptop, and I'm like, I gotta fucking find the turrets. I have to like see what they look like. I gotta like try these shit out. I could not find it. I swear, this is the first day I've ever dropped like 20 matches and had 0 drops on River City. Normally it's like, oh look, River City 12 times, Crimson States 5 times. Nope. Nope. I played Terra Therma like 12 times. It's perfect. I love not Terra Therma, HPG. Played HPG a bunch, and I like HPG, so that wasn't a super big deal. But it's just like, nope, no River City, no Crimson Straits.
I was about to call you goddamn insane if you were gonna say you like Terra Therma.
Oh yeah, man. I get on Terra Therma with my with my 6 ER PPC Stalker. You know, it's all about them damages. No.
You would have thought they would have upped the drop count on those ones with the turrets just to get more metrics. But
so, first of all, how many of you have seen them so far or played with them?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I've seen an image.
So I have 2 questions. 1, can you cap the base while the turrets are still active?
Yes, you're just getting shot.
Okay. 2, do the turrets provide targeting information for other mechs?
No.
Damn. I was hoping the answers would be opposite for both of those things.
They've got a bunch of them though. I was expecting there was only going to be 2 per base, but there's a ton of them, and they're not really close right on the base, so you actually kind of have to work your way through them to get to the base.
Are they dangerous? Like, is it kind of scary to run at them?
I wouldn't go that far. I mean,
Okay.
I lost like 3% in the time it took me to kill it.
I mean, if you have a light brawl around them, then
Yeah.
it'll add up.
Right, but if you I just went around right to them. It was Crimson Straits, and I went through the pass, and I mean you don't have to get far through the pass before you start hitting them. And I just had them one-on-one with no other lights there, so it only got me about 3% before I got them killed. But I think there was like, shoot, I don't even know, 5 or 6 or 7 of them. There was quite a few of them between there and all the way back to where the base is.
Oh wow.
Apparently
many...
they're somewhat intelligent in that they'll shoot your exposed locations.
I was
so
gonna
like
ask.
if your leg with if you have an open leg, they'll aim for that. But as smart as they are in doing that, they're also kind of dumb in that they'll aim for it even if it's behind cover and part of you is exposed.
Gotcha.
It's also apparently not a complete aimbot, but they are pretty good shots.
So they can miss.
Yeah, they're. I was jump jetting around. They were missing quite a bit.
Okay. I think, yeah, I would be interested to see if they prevented cap until the turrets were dead, or if the turrets provided lock-on to other mechs, so that the like the other people on the team could see, like, oh, there are 6 fucking Jenners moving into our base. I think that would be a good buff to them, but obviously I haven't played against them, so who knows.
I believe there's a bitching Betty warning when the turrets are getting shot.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, Grimlock just posted in there talking about the bug target switching. Have you guys seen this?
Yeah, it's a whole fucking bullet point that we need to talk about. Don't worry, we'll get to that. But I was under the impression that the turrets didn't really fuck with that. Is that true?
I don't know. That's the rumors that we've heard, is that it has something to do with the turrets, since the turrets were put in.
Huh.
But
Two separate issues. Right, 2 separate issues. There's one bug where the target designations are just going crazy and changing, like how it used to be with the UAV, except just continually, and you get down to like Sierra or something. I've proceeded through practically the entire alphabet during matches.
Wow.
There's a second bug with the turrets, where that when you're hitting E to lock something, or well, I guess for you guys it's
R.
Yes.
R. E is override shutdown Siri. Come on, run hotter mechs.
No, E is lock,
Oh.
R is overlay thing, and Q is push to talk. Get it straight. But no, the issue is that when there are turrets, for some reason it defaults to locking the turrets over anything else, even if the turrets aren't directly under your reticle, is what I'm hearing.
Okay, that's
So 2
good to
separate
know.
issues.
Okay.
Both of which have been acknowledged by, I think it's Thomas with the name that I can't pronounce.
Thomas something Polish, I think.
Yeah,
I actually ran into him in a game today. He whooped my ass.
Galowski or something?
He
I don't
didn't,
even know.
but his team whooped my ass. I was running with Commando, so.
Oh, you've been gracious.
Man, I'm always the one who plays Protect the Dev, because that's always the fun game, because everybody's focus firing the Dev, and you just get to take shots on whoever you want to. Yeah, turrets have 150 health. There's the 2 medium one, and then the LRM-10 one. I like the concept. I think they're cool. I'd really like to play with them and like get the feel for them. But yeah, I am a fan of turrets personally.
I think what we're really going to see is when it gets into an attack and defend mode, and how that's actually going to play out.
Oh yeah.
Especially if they got scarier turrets.
Not to mention, like, yeah, can you imagine like an AC-20? I think that connect to like Mech Commander and like the long tom turrets that just totally like fucked your shit. I don't know. I think like one long tom turret would be really crazy, or like an AC-20 turret. Even if it's got mediocre aim, if that bitch gets 2 shots off and hits you once in a light, that's worth it, especially if they're smart. All right. Anything else anybody want to say on turrets? Sounds like we all have pseudo limited knowledge.
If they're gonna make them big, for the attack defense mode, I'd have them take maybe a page out of what they did for MechWarrior Living Legends that had like 4 medium lasers and 2 LRM-20s on it and a pair of machine guns just to make it really frightening at like any range.
Yeah, that would be fun. Oh, that'd be cool. So it would just, but it wouldn't fire all of them at once. It would cycle through them. So like the LRMs would be, 600 to 200, and then the medium lasers would be like 290, and then the machine guns would kick in or something like that. It'd be cool to give them. I suppose you could just make them all shoot too, but
Yeah, unfortunately, turrets kind of mess up the competitive landscape for those that drop in assault mode, because now it's got that extra element only on a couple of maps rather than straight across the board.
that is true. I didn't think about that. I once they're straight across the board, I think it'll be fine. But for right now, you're right. That is actually, God, almost unbalanced. Because then
I'm hoping.
Yeah, go ahead, Siri.
I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that when lobbies come out, we are able to disable the turrets.
You want to play without them?
Or at least have the option. I somehow don't think it will, though. It just
I'd put some pressure. Put up posts all over the place and get some suggestions for that, because that seems like that should be a variable that they should be able to set. If they've got it on different maps where there's only 2 maps that have those on one particular game mode, it's got to be something they can switch.
I think they're planning to put them on all. So like so same situation, but assume the turrets are on every map on Assault. Would you still want that option?
Sorry, are you asking me?
Yeah.
I don't know. They could do a version of each map with the turrets, one without.
That's what I was thinking. Like, it'd be Conquest. Can you imagine Conquest with just like 2 turrets at every place? Like, that'd be fun. It would be cool if you could pick, though. I like the idea of being able to pick when you have turrets and when you don't. That's a good option. I like that idea. I'll wave my magic hands.
You can use the resources collected on Conquest to buff the cap points.
Oh god.
Oh god.
Are we playing Natural Selection 2 or something?
Yeah.
That's what you get the command module for. If you have a command module, you can place where the turrets turn on. Boom. Command module allows you to target mechs that the turrets are targeting.
Put turrets on top of termalines.
No, just build
Command
6 AC.
module.
Just fast cap Theta on HPG, and then put AC-20 turrets down below.
Fuck that. Put them up top. Like, put them on the very top of the peak that's like leans over. Like, AC-20 turret.
That would just be awful.
They drop in by drop pod. You like miss and crush a Jenner. Perfect. I see no problems here. Carry on.
Of course not.
Onward.
We all good on the subject?
I think so. I was gonna bring up
Once we start talking about AC-20 turrets.
AC-20 turrets, man. Yeah, there's a champion stalker. It's an LRM-60 with tag and an XL.
Don't forget the 4 medium lasers and the complete lack of BAP.
Don't forget if you shoot this mech at all, you'll overheat and die.
Because newbies don't know what Ghost Heat is.
Wait.
The 4 LRM-15 suffer from Ghost Heat.
Triggers Ghost Heat, yeah. I had to remember the brackets in my head. Oh man, that's actually. I'm not gonna lie. I've built that stalker. It's pretty fun. LRM-60 is a lot of damage, but. Oh, actually, that brings up another really good point. Artemis split. I just saw that today on Reddit. All hail Series Table. That's gonna be a new thing, by the way. Every time we mention Reddit, everybody just say all hail Series Table.
Oh, don't blow up my head.
Oh yes, perfect. But yeah, so Artemis got split. They mentioned this, I believe, in December, that they were going to split Artemis. So now any mechs that you had equipped with Artemis, all of those LRM launchers have become LRM or Artemis LRMs, and they are now a completely separate inventory item. Non-Artemis LRMs. So this means that is there still a cost to equipping Artemis?
It's buried into
lie.
the cost of the Artemis equipment.
Okay,
I think
so
they said
you
that
can
it was going to be
just...
significantly reduced, right? The
Yeah.
cost of actually equipping it, like 200,000 or something.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
well, they're loading it. They're combined because they're splitting the Artemis from regular. The Artemis cost will be higher. So if you buy the Artemis version of LRMs, you're gonna pay more. So they're absorbing the cost into the actual equipment, rather than paying for a separate Artemis upgrade. That was my understanding of it, anyway.
Okay. So yeah, so you still have to pay for like the actual Artemis upgrade, but then your launchers are separate items now, which I guess I like. Oh, I'm looking in chat and everybody's saying that my sound is shit. That's probably because I'm on a laptop. And...
No, don't worry about it. It's just Verci's levels. Keep going.
Oh yeah. Anyway, God, that's right. I don't have to worry about this. It's somebody else's problem. Woo. Yeah. So, I like the Artemis change. It's interesting. I've noticed pseudo. I can't tell if it's better hit detection or if I just have been playing it more to try. But SRMs seem to be working slightly better. Am I crazy?
Somebody else mentioned that over the last 24 hours that they found hit detection to be better since the patch.
Yeah, I still like they're not dealing full damage, but they are working a lot better. I mean, I dropped like 500 damage in a Griffin or some shit the other day. It was a trash build, but yeah, I try SRMs. I've seen a lot of the old school twin large AC-20 3SRM6 Atlases running around, which is really fun for me because that was like my heyday of brawling. But yeah, so that's a nice change. That goes along kind of with the Artemis. Not really. Went off on a tangent there. I believe the original topic was the Champion Stalker. Did anybody buy a Champion Stalker?
No.
There we go. That's the answer I was hoping for.
You can't pick it up yet, can you?
I think.
Hope so. I mean, is it the trial mech right now?
It's a
Yeah, it's a
Should
trial
be.
right now.
Oh god.
Hmm.
Let's take the mech with worst side choices in the game and give it an Excel, and then give it to newbies, and then make them deal with Ghost Teeth. This'll end well.
Perfect.
Maybe it's a way of forcing them to learn how to chain fire.
That is true.
Because that's going to be their first reaction, not, oh god, I'm overheating and dead.
Dude, to be fair, if you started playing, you'd be like, what is chainfire? How does it work? I don't
On
think
top
any...
of why are my missiles doing no damage through this Jenner hugging me?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's true. This game does have a steep learning curve. All MechWarrior games have had steep as fuck learning curves, though. Personally, I blame, like, the current generation of, everything has to have a 20-minute tutorial when you start... Motherfucker, did you play Quake? Like, holy shit. I played Quake and it's like, here's a fucking gun. Figure your shit out. Unreal Tournament? Like, Jesus. People need to just learn how to play video games. Oh, God. Fucking hated Mist. Don't even get me started. That goddamn safe.
Why the hell would I click that book?
Okay. Anyway.
I still think it would be hilarious to put a Metalander as the trial mech.
That would be just absolutely hilarious, because everybody would run it.
And yes, I called it a Metalander just to piss you off, Verci.
Doesn't piss me off.
Improper use of the word meta, I will punish you.
We'll be hearing
Moving
from
on.
Phil soon.
Did anybody see Calf's post in the nerf? Well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
That's one of the next
That's
topics.
later.
Yeah, it is. Everybody who's got
Next-
the
next
show
up-
notes up.
Forward.
Range modules, right?
Weapon
Yep.
modules. Okay, so I'm actually really excited about these. First of all, I think we can all agree that there are only a few useful ones. Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
It's mostly
you,
limited by
co-host.
the fact they only go to tier 2.
Mm-hmm. And I think once we see, because they're planning on doing up to tier 5. I don't remember. It was in the technical update in like December or something like that. But they do plan on going all the way up to tier 5, which means that we could get fairly huge increases if we go off the numbers from the patch, which is doubling with each increase. So just take, for example, the AC5, which is 13 and then 26 meters. If we go all the way up to 5, and Raffle does his math not completely terribly, that's 50... Jesus, that'd be huge.
65.
Yeah.
I
So-
kind of hesitate jumping on that type of range though, because right now it's currently 2% and 4% as the increase. So you might see 6, 8, and 10 for the remaining
Yeah.
tiers.
Oh yeah, so I don't think it's gonna. Sorry, I don't think it's a double. I think it's just going to increase by that base, like 13 meters. So the AC5 right now is increase in range of 13 meters for a heat output increase of 0.02, and then 26 meters at a heat output increase of 0.04. So I think it'll go up from there to 39, and then 52, and then 65. So for a max heat increase of 0.1. Yeah, 0.1. So, I personally am excited. I think these bring a big money sink for people that have a lot of C-bills laying around to spend, so it adds to the grind and adds to the value of the game for people who are looking to grind stuff like that.
I love
But-
grinding.
Hey man, I got 100 days of premium time to activate when I get back to my desktop. Now that the button is fixed. But yeah, so when I looked at this, the only ones I saw use for were the AC5, the medium laser, the AMS, and the Streak 2. But then Siri pointed out that the Streak 2, instead of increasing heat, increases cooldown. So I took the Streak 2 off my list. But the increased AMS one I think is really interesting. The fact that it's possible to like increase the range of your AMS is interesting. To me, at least.
That would be good for lights, maybe as an anti-streak mechanic.
I feel like it was Siri who brought this up as well, but I don't remember. It might have been somebody else. You might also then be covering too much range to the fact that it only... No, I'm talking out my ass. Forget about that statement. That was bullshit. Nobody said that. I'm mixing up things I heard.
It was me, and I can clarify it for you if you'd like.
Okay, I would appreciate that, because I don't remember the conversation that clearly.
What we were discussing is that currently the limiting time on the AMS is, or the limiting factor of the AMS is that how often the server actually checks if missiles are in range of your AMS. And if I recall correctly, it's like every half second it does a check, otherwise it would just be too much. So what that means is that there's a certain amount of variability, and like my AMS can activate when it's at 250 or when it's at 150, and I think and that means it can either shoot down like one missile or two. So I'm not sure how much the range buff is going to help. It probably still could. Just in terms of like maybe sometimes you'll get really lucky and it'll start out at 280 instead of the current 270. But to be honest, most of the engagements where you're using AMS, if you're out at 270, you're pretty much safe anyways. Because at that range you have enough time to like dip into cover by the time the missiles come in or something. And SRMs really only get really good when you're sub 150. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
I
I
think for
wonder...
the double AMS guys, that would be a useful one if you're in an LRM heavy environment again. You know, the Stalker with the dual AMS
Mm-hmm.
and the Locust.
So,
That's
here's...
anybody would run it.
Does anybody feel like there's an LRM buff coming? Because we've got the chaff announced to be released at some point in the next year. We've got buffs to AMS. We've got buffs to... There was another buff that I can't remember. But it's basically a whole bunch of things that are like not nerfs to LRMs, but just counters to them in certain situations. And I feel like something's going to change with LRMs.
Yeah, they
I
said
don't know, Rob.
that a couple of weapons that they're looking at, he said, that's coming up. One of them was the large pulse lasers are looking at the heat for that, but the other thing he said is that they're looking at the travel time for LRMs. So
Oh, that's
Yeah, I was
right.
just
it's
gonna
going to
say
be a
the speed,
huge
yeah.
buff. That's going to be a huge buff.
Damn it, Han, you stole my chance to be sarcastic at Raffle.
Sirius sitting here smiling, be like, I've finally gotten Ruffle. I have something. Not finally, he gets me all the time. So that'll be interesting. I'm excited to see where that goes. I like the possibility of that. With these modules, do you guys think... Do you think they're, like, bad? Have any of you bought any of them?
I bought the machine gun range.
How do you like it?
I don't even notice the difference.
Using it on your
It's
Ember, I
5
take it?
meters. It's 5 meters.
Yeah, I think...
So when it hits tier 5, it might be worth it, but right now it's just... I'm just running it for the lols. The big thing is that they're 3 million apiece.
Yeah. They are a money sink.
And
But
you
isn't
have
there-
to
which
pay
is-
for each one to
Yeah,
get to the
it's-
next one.
Isn't there a visual
No, you don't.
customization element
Oh,
or
you
something
don't?
like
you
that?
just skip it to the 2?
Yeah, that's the other
I thought you
thing,
had
is
to pay for
that you can't pick lower rank ones. If you unlocked rank 2 and say, oh, I feel like this heat penalty is too much, you can't run rank 1.
Oh.
So that's I think they should change that. Like, if you
Yeah.
unlock up to rank 5, they should be separate modules. Like, I kind of see where they're coming from, where they want it to auto upgrade as you unlock.
And they don't want
But
to
there
clutter
will
everything.
be times where I might think, well, tier 5 is too much heat on this build. I only want to run tier 3.
I'm excited for the point of like min-maxing to that extent, and I think it'll be really interesting with clan mechs because they announced that they want to be able to change like every stat. So imagine the reverse of this, where you decrease heat output and lower range for brawlers. Like, because that
Could be
could
useful.
be a thing. Like that. Like, I don't know. I think it'll be fun, and I'm excited to see where the progression of this goes.
Somebody just said Han looks bored.
That's right, let's move along.
Last word is, the interesting thing is that it only costs like 500 and then 600 to unlock tier 1 and tier 2, but then goes up to 3 million, which is the same price as like some of the 7,500 to 9,000 XP
Mhm.
Yeah, it gets crazy.
modules. So I think they should tone those costs down, but what do I know? I mean, like,
Okay.
you tone the cost down, people want to experiment, you end up getting the same amount of C-bills in the long run anyways, so throw us a bone
Yeah.
here.
I have a feeling those modules are going to get adjusted because it's kind of new territory they're entering in those ranges and heat values, and you look at sort of the trade-offs between some of the weapons. You're kind of like, like the large laser one's a good example. For 10% more heat to get to, let's see, what was it? I had it here. At level 5, you're gonna get half damage at 750 versus 675, but you could get into an ER large, which shoots much further, and it's incrementally a bit hotter, but you're just better off with an ER large, right? So the module for large laser level 5 doesn't really make a lot of sense, but you can take an ER large and get much better range and not tie up a module slot.
Do you think they'll nerf ER large?
Possibly. The ER larges
why?
are quite good as anti-sniper weapons right now, though.
Yeah, it's not even good enough to...
Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing to note is specifically what they didn't provide range modules for. PPCs, UACs, LERMs.
I can't say I'm surprised.
Yeah, they're trying to buff brawling weapons to bring them in line. Like, think about it, right? If you can extend the range of your engagement against Pop-Tartars, then you actually have a bit of a chance. But I don't like the fact that you've got a type of module slot to do it.
Mhm.
And
Somebody mentioned that one of the one that they had bought was the SRM one, because on a brawling mech before, your maximum engagement distance with all of your weapons was 270, max range of your SRMs. But if you add those extra few meters, you can engage that much sooner with all of your weapons, your SRMs, your AC-20, and your lasers, which on a brawling Atlas is a pretty big deal. So I think it's that one is also worth mentioning.
So I wonder if they're going to increase the number of module slots each mech can carry, because now you've got so many modules that
I thought
you can pick from.
If I remember correctly, they wanted to make consumables a different slot.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Yeah.
But I don't know when that's coming. I don't know what that's going to look like. So I think we'll have to see. All right. I think we've talked about. We're only halfway through. We're not even through the first main bullet point of our show notes. So I think we should move on. I wanted to find a Nerf gun, but I'm not in my room, so I don't have one just sitting next to me to shoot my roommate. Nerf gun at the Highlander. So Highlander is on the menu to be nerfed, which I'm assuming will come in the form of, oh god, being poked.
You're good now.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. My cam is a little bit sketchy on here just because of the system I am on. But yeah, Highlander is on the queue to be nerfed. So that means, personally, I think it's going to come in the form of agility nerfs, so twist and pitch and stuff like that. I wish it was jump jets. I think we've had this conversation a bunch. We all agree that the way to fix the current meta, if it needs fixing at all, is through jump jet nerfs. And so I'd like to open up to talk about it a little bit, but keep in mind we have already covered this.
Siri for PGI President 2014.
Yeah, it's gonna be a jump jet nerf for sure. The good thing is
so you think it will be a jump jet nerf?
Yeah, but if you look down in the post that he put down, he posted again that said that they are giving a hard look to jump jets. So it's gonna come in the way of jump jets, I think. The good thing is that they've already got the jump jets broken by classes. They've got class 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I think that they can adjust them in a way that will hamper or limit pop tarting without hurting lights too badly.
Yep, jump jets are being looked at, specifically the initial burst turn.
Exactly.
And there are other mechs on the firing range for nerfs. Okay, that's interesting.
Right, you mean I can't easily climb any hill in the entire game with jump jets anymore?
Don't tell anyone that all you have to do is mash your jump jet button like a madman and you can climb anything. No, anything.
We actually had, I think Jagger, I'm not sure if he was on NGNG or it was his own stream, but he was on a stream doing it and like showing somebody, yeah, you can just mash the jump jet button and get to the top of this mountain. And then Dev was in chat and he was like, that's not
holy
intended.
Fuck, that's broken.
And that was like a month and a half at least ago, and so we haven't seen anything. But
well, so yeah, go ahead.
I was going to get back to our last topic. Was when I was reading it, I had the feeling that it was going to be both a Highlander specific nerf and then a jump jet nerf.
Yeah, I think for Highlander specific, they could probably affect the torso twist speed and angle, like degrees, because right now it's a 90-degree twist. They could slow it down and they could reduce the amount it can twist so that you can't use that whole left side damage, so that the 733 is really popular for.
So now this is crazy, and this is a huge throwback, which is something I'm fairly known for. Back in the day, this is closed beta, there was a schematic thrown around for a 3 reticle aiming system, because the original sketch for the Dragon didn't have a twist arm. It only had up and down. It only had pitch. So there was an idea for a triple reticule aiming system where you'd have the standard system like it is now. So you'd have the dot and the crosshairs, but then you'd have a third one that only moved on the XY axis for weapons that didn't have twist in the arm. And they took that out because they thought it was too complex. But I feel like mechs that have that missing arm slot, Highlander, I feel like that should be in the game. I feel like you can twist one of your arms, but not the other. You should only be able to move that one up and down. And I think that would be a super good nerf to the Highlander to make, and all mechs that have that free ballistic slot that allow you to mount an AC-20 in the arm. I think that'd be interesting.
Do you think it would be enough to bring them in line with all the rest of the ground pounders?
It would make the all-purpose mech less all-purpose. Because right now, you've got the twin AC5, twin PPC Highlander, which is really big. Like, that's, that is the meta, everybody agrees. So when you get that mech in a sniping battle, it's unmatched, obviously. But when you get in a brawl, it's also good, because you have the ability to swing with your arms, take shots, and still hit light ground targets because you have the ability to swing your arm so quickly and track targets. And I think without that ability, it'd be like piloting a stalker. It'd be a lot harder to hit light mechs. Well, it wouldn't be impossible. It would make it harder enough that I think it's a good possibility, and I'd be interested to see it, even if it was just on like public test for a night.
Well, I have 2 counterpoints to that. Well, 1 counterpoint and 1 further point of discussion. The counterpoint is, as a specialist stalker pilot, I love blowing things up with my AC-20, thinking that I can't hit them.
Oh no, I mean I'm definitely not saying that it isn't possible. I'm just saying that it makes it less of a multi-purpose tool, if you know what I mean.
The other point is that if we're jumping ahead a little, that's sort of the exact same thing they want to do with clan mechs, is if they get PPCs or autocannons in the arms, they automatically lose the lower and hand actuator.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm asking that question so strongly, is do you think the arms really, really contribute that much to the jumper's success?
To the jump sniping, no. To the brawling success, I think they do contribute quite a bit. I think that honestly, I know a lot of people that hold down their arm lock key when they jump snipe just to make sure that all of their shots hit the exact same place. But for brawling, I think is where it would make a difference.
What about the rest of you? Do you think that would be enough of a change, or would you still need something more?
I think if it's nerfed enough, they'll just go to an alternative. I mean, I just popped in chat there, but the DS, the Victor Dragon Slayer, is essentially a Highlander light with a little more speed, and some people even prefer it because it strikes that nice balance of speed, toughness, and firepower, and that could drive more. I mean, it could be a smart move on PGI's part, because if you nerf the Highlander and then the Victor DS becomes the mech of choice, then you end up selling more, because competitive players are going to want the best technology, and if the Victor DS becomes that, then PGI reaps wicked benefits from it.
Yeah, how much
That's
do you hear the
interesting.
cry of pay to win at that point, though?
Yeah.
It's true.
But you don't have to have the DS. You can have the 9S.
Right. You
Yeah.
can
Almost
still
as
run that
good.
build.
But
Yeah,
it's not an asymmetrical loadout, that's the thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you don't have the perfect convergence. You have to deal with your split arms.
Yep. It's interesting. I'm excited to see where it goes. First of all, just before we say anything else, I really want to give props to communication, and all that stuff has been fucking terrific in the last week. Everything has been great. All that stuff has been like, how many command share posts have we seen? Hot fix today to make sure that little stuff was fixed for the majority of players. I think we're really seeing a combination of, one, that UI 2.0 was a really big holdup, and two, that I think that resecuring the license was a really big idea, like a really big thing that happened. So I just wanted to mention it in passing. That good job, communication, baller, all that jazz.
And Garth was even posting on Serious Table's subreddit.
I know, all hail Serious Table.
It's not just my subreddit, damn it.
You started it. You get all of the credit.
You mean blame?
Blame, credit.
Yeah,
we'll go with
blame.
both. Yeah. So I think jump just to mention, etc., etc. Let's move on we had a whole ton of shit we were going to talk about tonight, but I don't necessarily want to do a marathon stream, and I still need content for next week. So we're going to probably leave Clan Mex out of it for this week, and we'll move on to the UI. I don't want this to be like a giant shitstorm. I think we all know that there are problems that need to be fixed, but yeah. So let's just talk about the UI quick.
So I think that, well, as much as people really hate the bugs that are associated with it, there are some good features that are coming out of it that were kind of unexpected. Small things, but just knowing what your teammates are loading up with is really helpful, rather than having to go and ask everyone or risk the chance in a competitive drop of somebody dropping with the wrong mech. So you can do a nice visual double check. And when you fail to find, it doesn't unready your whole team, so you can just hit launch right away, which is actually another neat little feature.
It's
again,
super nice.
Yeah, and it is nice because you probably lose a good 30 seconds to a minute because one person gets up to go grab a drink and you just sit there waiting for that person to get back. So so those are small things. You can see that with the way the launch selection criteria, you're going to eventually be able to hopefully select which of the 3 game modes that you want to drop in. So if you load up a certain loadout and you just want to do assault and skirmish and not conquest, you can do that. So it looks like that will give you that option. And they do need to make some fixes with the UI. A couple of guys have completely did an uninstall and then fresh install and found the game was a lot more stable. So I've recommended everybody to do that tonight in our
group.
So
I'm obviously on my laptop, hence all of the wonky streaming, but I'm running at least 10 FPS better on my laptop than I was before, which is really fun for me. I can actually play on my laptop. Before I couldn't jump jet because it gave me headaches, but now I can play on my laptop, which is really fun, especially since I have to be gone sometimes. But yeah, so I think there are definitely market improvements in some places. But Siri, you had kind of a little spiel I know you wanted to give.
No, it wasn't really a spiel. It was just sort of a focus for our discussion.
It's okay, we got your soapbox already.
It's actually made of soap because I'm poor.
And the soap is made of human fat.
More expensive.
No, I just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
In any case, I was just going to take us really quickly through just sort of a description and the expectations and all this reaction and feedback that's been going on. And, well, description. It's UI 2.0. It's a new UI. It doesn't actually affect anything in game, but it's been this monkey on PGI's back for over a year now, where they have to refactor their entire technical side. And apparently they've done that successfully. They've got all the tech behind it. And now the problem behind it was that the actual flow and interface itself, what it is as a user interface, has been a little, well, unpolished is a kind word for it. And so people have been getting a rather vehement reaction to it.
Bitches be butthurt.
I wouldn't call it that. Yeah, I mean, it's justified given how unintuitive some of the menus and other things are, and some of the extant bugs. But there are other people who were expecting it to be, I don't know, like the second coming of Jesus or something that saved this game and turned it around. Whereas realistically speaking, it's always been advertised as a roadblock, and getting rid of a roadblock does not in and of itself deliver salvation.
But Jesus walked on water.
Fuck yourself, Mercenaries.
So is my Jenner.
Jump jets on water.
Don't worry, all water is exactly the same depth on Crimson Straits. Let's talk about that. Yeah, so I did find the post, by the way. I don't know how many episodes in a row I've called this, where there was going to be that one guy that was like, I don't understand what the big deal is. This is just a UI. Fuck that guy. Go suck. God damn it. Okay, so...
Mad.
Dude,
Mad waffle.
Okay, so really, I want somebody to sit down and like the UI just so much like isn't so much, but I want somebody to sit down and I want them to think about every single factor that goes into creating community warfare, and I want them to sit down and be like, you have 15 people, make this in a year. Like that fucking hurts your goddamn brain. Like, come on. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting mad because I've had a lot of whiskey, but that's okay. So yeah, UI's out. I actually showed it to a friend of mine. Hadn't played the game in a really long time since closed beta. He, bought the Legendary Founders Pack because he was like, I have disposable income. This game looks fun. Played it a little bit. Got busy with real life. Just came back a few days ago and started playing again. And he's like, oh, this UI is different, right? And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, I like it. So he didn't have any like super big problems with it. Didn't have like a lot of the major gripes that most people have, and I think that part of what's wrong right now is that a lot of people built it way up in their head about what it was going to do and what it was intended for, and I think that remembering that it is just that stepping stone to what we need it to be is really important.
Yeah, like to me, it's yay, it's out of the way. Get us lobbies as soon as you goddamn
right.
Can. Please, thank you.
It's Wednesday, not Thursday. It's Wednesday. It came out yesterday. In the last 2 days, we've already seen a hotfix for things that were wrong and a post about balance, which is like things we have not seen in quite a long time. And I think that realizing that putting these big obstacles behind us and just focusing on, okay, there are problems right now. They're going to get patched. They're going to get fixed. They've already told us they're building a Smurfy layout. That's in the works. It's not like they're just going to be
only a month away. Have we ever heard about something new only a month away?
Oh, yes. Don't worry.
Yes, we have.
That's been brought out?
They've never given solid dates on it, though.
Hey, they told me UI 2.0 would be, like, next month, a year ago.
As soon as they give you an actual patch date for it, they're like, this will be on this patch on this date. It's coming out. They haven't broken one of those yet.
But I mean, like, I'd kind of like to hear what our guests think about, like...
No, totally.
Because for all these people who have built up false expectations and have been disappointed, there are actual legitimate criticisms, many of them. And to me, they fall into three categories, just like bugs, game-breaking ones, obviously top priority. There's the whole big picture design, i.e. the fact we don't have a Smurfy's Mech Lab, and some of the features seem unintuitive. But then there's also just like quality of life tweaks and streamlining, like the fact that the social button is fucking tiny and I have to click it to do anything. And I'd like to hear what these guys think about all three of those.
Yeah, the social tab is the one that throws so many people off. I've had people poke me and be like, how do I do this? How do I do that? And a lot of the times it's related to group invites and finding that little three-headed blinking blue light at the bottom. Not even, it's not prominent, and it's, if you were to design a web page, I mean, this whoever designed this, like anybody who's a creative designer or a web designer or graphic designer is cringing right now because the layout is so unintuitive. You would never see a website built this way. Like even the most basic of websites, everything is across the top, and you can't check. You don't think of looking down there. Even the stats summary, things are so small. They've got all the screen real estate. I'm running 1920 by 1200. You know how small that shit is on a 24-inch monitor. But it's the biggest.
You know how small a 24-inch monitor is? No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
And it just seems.
I'm sorry. I had to keep going. You're making really good points.
Sorry, all of a sudden the shorts came to mind. So now I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I think it needs to be moved around. And Homeless Bill from my group did a really good analysis after, I think it was the first public test of this, where he just basically cut and paste elements and redesigned the page, and it became way more intuitive. And hopefully with the way they've designed this, they say it's a modular system, they should be able to move elements around, I hope, and make it more a better flow. And the other thing that drives me nuts is when you're in a group, that social window, once we're looking at your group, you have to like exit out of the chat, and they're you're going from the far left to the far right, to exit a chat and then go and deal with your mech labbing, and you can't
Yep.
preview what your mech is loaded out with, so you got to go into configure, and you have no idea where the hell your modules are, so you have to go into the configure and then modules on each mech until you find your damn modules. Like there's so many things that are just really annoying. That could
There's
be
a
a lot
shortcut
better.
to that, right?
Tell
Yeah.
me. For
From the home
modules.
screen, if you're on the home screen where you're just seeing your big mech and everything, on the left is inventory, and then battle mechs will have a list. I've heard this doesn't work for Phoenix mechs or Founders mechs because you can't sell those, but you can mouse over all of those mechs and it'll actually show you what their loadout is, including the modules.
I'm gonna log back in and look at that because I never.
Everybody's
noticed
like,
it.
"Holy shit!
Yeah.
Let me try this right now."
That's the thing, is you don't notice it because it's so shitty of a layout.
Yeah.
The two biggest things for me are if I could exit the social tab by clicking escape or clicking anywhere that wasn't a prominent window, fucking A-okay. Make that a thing and I'll buy somebody a bottle of whiskey. And just because I'm tired of hearing people complain about it, change the checkout button to say save.
Yeah,
Those are
that's
my two things right now.
That's right. Everyone's like, "How do I save my mech?" Like, you got to check out, and then of course you have to hit back twice to get back to the main mech.
Or
in
just
order
hit
to-
home.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say
or
I
hit
just hit
home.
home.
Right. So in order to go and ready up, you can't just save and then go and ready up right away. You have to go through that extra step, which is kind of annoying.
Yep.
Yeah, and it'll let you go to the group and start to try to do your group, and then you try to ready up, and it says, "Oh, you can't do that while you're configuring," and then you got to do 3 steps back so you can go 2 steps forward. Just the number of clicks, I think, is just insane. I mean, with modules, you already have your mech that you're already in, right? But no, you have to go and click and configure mech, then you got to pick that mech, then you got to go to modules, and you got to buy the modules. There's just way too many steps in it.
Oh, I think it's Blix in my unit has a 40-inch screen, and the button is the same size for him as it is for me. So that's like that big.
Well,
At
at
the
least we
bottom of
know
the
it's
screen.
built into scale for monitors. Come on.
No, I mean like it's the same
I know.
number of pixels.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's built
Um,
into scale.
I don't know. I thought it was fairly intuitive. You just think, where's the last place I would ever look for a button, and there it is.
I keep clicking the settings button because that's where it was on the old UI.
Table, what are your thoughts on this? Just bugs, big picture design, and streamlining.
Big picture design is definitely gonna be needed. That's long and short of it. I'm hoping what they do is there'll be a button that will be for like mech details, and you can just edit everything from there. Everybody loves Smurfy. It's nice. It's easy. Go to right from there. But I'm with everybody else. I mean, it's got its bugs. It's got its problems. But at the same time, it was its initial release, and I'm in that same bandwagon of I'm just so goddamn glad this is out of the way finally. We can start making progress on the rest of the game. If it's any comfort to the angry waffle over here, I mean, I think about what it takes to build community warfare on my off time because I enjoy that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, we can do what we used to be able to do. It's not terribly intuitive. It takes a lot longer to do it, but we can, which is what I was really hoping for. I could fit out my mechs and I could drop into the game. So I'm at least content with it now, and that it has the possibility of changing in the future. I'll keep my fingers crossed.
Just out of curiosity, has anybody asked like a brand new person who's never played the game to come use the mech lab and see if it's just not intuitive because we're used to the old one? I haven't done it. I haven't even fucking used it enough to know if I am totally full of shit, but I just wanted to know if anybody's tried it.
My wife said it was pretty.
It's not nice looking for sure, and I think somebody who's new to it will be like, "Hey, this is a really cool interface." I like the fact that you can mouse over or click a mech and actually see the stats of that mech. And like the yaw pitch and some of the other pieces of information that wasn't so obvious with the old UI.
I don't know.
In fact, you didn't get term speed and acceleration and deceleration. Like, you had to go to Smurfy's to get that info.
Yeah, it's cool to have like that new stuff in there.
I don't
still
know.
can't see my modules, by the way.
I look at the whole UI as like just like everything else with MWO as a whole, and it's the potential. And I guess that's the big picture view that we were talking about. But like I just look at like the little things, like, you know, it's like, oh, this would be really good with Smurfy. Bam, you know. Oh, by the way, yeah, they mentioned that it's gonna come out, you know, next month. Or like the drop deck, where you can actually see the mechs that everyone's bringing in a 12-man. Oh my God, why was that not introduced a million years ago? That is amazingly awesome, because now you should never fuck up your drop deck in a competitive match ever again. And that's one step away from being able to choose your lances and place your mechs on a map in the mech lab itself before you drop.
Yeah, I'm thumbing through the mech lab right now. I'm just trying to see, you know, just looking at it and all the buttons that are available to it. At the end of the day, it's not terribly unintuitive. I mean, you click on mech lab, you got your list of here, select your mech from this various different types over here, and then there's a big button that says configure under that mech. The thing that throws me off, honestly, is when you click on the loadout and it's got like a drop down for each individual section. That just throws me off somehow. I wish that would change, but I mean, at the end of the day,
I wish there weren't icons for every single thing. I wish that
and they're still beeping.
Dude, we will not talk about the fucking clicks.
At least it's not that high.
Fuck Vercinix. I honestly, the public test, I was like, this is pretty cool. I'm pretty happy. I love this. Whatever, progress. And then I turned my sound on, and I heard the clicks, and I fucking logged into my Twitter, which I never goddamn use, and I tweeted Russ, and I was like, can we please get a button to get rid of the clicks? Please. That's all I want.
At least it's a softer tone. Remember that one test where it was like ting 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 ting? And it was, it was like a high-pitched ting, and then they changed it, and they made it softer now, so it's not that bad if you turn your volume down.
Angry typewriter sounds.
Dude, it did. It sounded like I was mousing over a typewriter.
What would make sense too is if they made, you know, when you're picking engines, how they show you that big blob of engines, the ones you own, make the button green instead of yellow. Like,
oh my god, I can't believe I didn't fucking think about that shit. That would be glorious. Would that be?
Carp, go put that in my feedback thread.
Yeah. Link it in chat so everybody can put feedback in.
Yep, Carp, go to the Reddit all praise serious table and talk about the feedback thread. But yeah, I think the important thing to mention is it's progress. Progress often comes at the tone of a few little mistakes. They've already done a hotfix for like the really big things that were affecting the most players, which is really good. The one bug which we didn't really talk about it in depth yet, but the targeting bug, which is kind of a big deal. But it's progress. We're getting there, slowly but surely.
And it was released on time.
Yeah, get fucked, everybody who said it wasn't going to be.
Well, for certain definitions of...
It was released on the date they said they were going to release it.
The most recent date they said they were going to release it.
They never mentioned a specific date before, it was only general months.
Alright, okay, I'll give you that one.
You didn't catch that we didn't say 2013.
Wait. Okay.
Verci, any last words on the subject?
No. Potential.
Okay. Really quick, I would like to mention just that there is a targeting bug in 12-mans right now, and in 4-mans for that matter, where the targeting number will shift, targeting letter, the designation will shift. Sometimes I've seen as far down as Sierra. I don't think I've seen farther than Sierra.
Yeah, and those O's and Q's really mess you up because you're calling out what you think is Omega, and you're like, wait, no, that's a Q.
I don't even. Is Omega the call sign for O? Oscar. What the fuck is Q?
Quebec.
I would have said Quentin. Huh.
Yeah, it gets kind of ridiculous, and it's really annoying, not just when you're reading it, but when you read it and it shifts the second after you call the target, and then it keeps shifting. We had, during the game tonight, like the first Highlander, very first match that we were killing, I think it went from like H to M over the course of us shooting it.
Holy balls!
Actually, no, not that far, but it was pretty
Nanner
bad.
is saying he got all the way to Y.
I want to see what happens once it hits Z and then tries to go further.
I was personally happy seeing like 4 mechs get Oscar. So like literally like during one of our 12 mans, Panic's like, why the fuck is no one shooting Oscar? And then he's like,
There's
oh wait,
more
that one's fucking, whatever,
Yes.
Kappa or something crazy. And it's like, oh, the thing that is Oscar is getting shot.
Fuck me.
We've had drops, like our drop tonight, one of them I think was, okay, everybody shoot Mike, Mike's down, shoot Mike again. Okay, Mike's down, shoot Mike again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna mess up.
Just shoot Mike.
coordination.
Just for everybody who doesn't know, who doesn't play in Merrick, Antonius Rex, who's been on the show a couple times, has made the sweeping decree that all matches in Merrick can and will be postponed should the teams wish due to this bug. So it's that big of a deal in the competitive community. Just so that everybody knows that that's out there. Other than that, there's more information we can go over. We can talk about Omnimex and the technical update, but we've already been going for almost an hour and a half, and
It's only been an hour 15.
Oh really?
Yep, hour
We started
15.
late.
Oh, that's true. Fucking Siri.
Just like I poked you,
don't
bro.
look at me. We were waiting for 228s to ready to fuck up, so.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was watching Fleming, the man who would be Bond. Do you guys want to keep talking? I feel like if we get into Omnimex, we'll go another hour. So
Oh,
let's quick talk about the tech update. We already mentioned quick updates to server performance and hit reg, I believe. We talked about that. Let's talk about the .cfg, which I'm super excited about. The .cfg is locked now, correct?
Most of them are locked. There are still some things that can be used.
Oh,
From what
okay.
I talked to Verci about from HOD, the remaining options that are unlocked don't have a big effect, either in the in-game graphics or performance. And for him, that was a bit of a gripe, was because with a low-end computer, he had done quite a few tweaks on the .cfg to give himself better frame rate and usable, like just being able to play the game.
Okay, that's good to know. I thought they had disabled .cfg use, sorry, not use, modification completely. Verci, you run modded files, don't you? Or
Well,
ran? past
used
tense?
to, yeah.
Was it a big change?
Well, I technically saw this coming because back when the Mercstar as a whole, the coalition found out about all the massive CFG edits, I was one of the people that was playing around with it. Not so much for the, advantage point of view, but I was very interested in helping some of our members with their frames. And I found out at one of the points that if you edited your CFG, it automatically rewound to a basic CFG file. So this isn't like something brand spanking new, because I normally ran at a higher frames per or larger field of view, and all of a sudden I was back to default, and that threw me off for a good 2 or 3 days, where I was expecting to be able to see like all the way out my left window, and all of a sudden it's like I'm face smashed against the cockpit. It didn't really matter too much for me because I never felt that I did anything game breaking. I mean, I did a lot of the basic, expected CFG edits. So it wasn't like, oh my god, I can't play this game anymore because I've been totally editing my CFG to the point where I can't, play this normally. I don't know. It needed to happen. There were massive CFGs. Like even if you didn't use third-party programs and stuff, it was noticeable when we were doing those testings.
Yeah, excuse me while I take out my entire cockpit and set my field of view way back. So
I didn't do the cockpit one. That one I saw from Siri.
On every side of my fucking mech. Plus, I'll take off all of the fog. And now I can.
Yeah,
see
it was really the
map
fog
clear.
that was the noticeable advantage. But I streamed enough that everyone could see anything and everything that I did, and really it was just more field of view and cleaning things up a tad.
Well, the big ones were if you remove the fog, you could see clean across Forest Colony. There was no haze/mist. You could see clear across Caustic Valley, like 2 kilometers when normally you could barely see like 1. And on Frozen City, the storm was gone.
Yeah.
The entire storm, which cuts you down to like 300 meters and forces you to use thermal, that was completely gone. And anybody who was saying that, like, oh, like removing the storm, it's not an advantage, you're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah. And anytime I have to use a different mechanic which limits my my field of view and my range of view, yeah, no, that's bullshit. I hate thermal with a fiery passion.
Okay, thermal hates you too.
Yeah, it does.
Wow. Yeah, personally, I think it's a good change. As somebody who never modded my .cfg file purely because I didn't care, I'm glad it's gone. I think that removing things like trees was nearly impossible to enforce in a tournament setting or in a competitive setting, and I'm glad that that ability is gone now.
Now, please let me change my field of view again.
Yeah. They said they're going to add a slider, so.
Now.
Yeah. All right.
DX11.
Coming in March.
Excited.
Anybody want to say anything about it?
I took part in the DX11
2 video cards?
BST and PT like test or PTS, not PST. I took part in it, and they at the time they said expected 10 to 15 frames per second drop, which I did experience. I didn't really see a whole lot different visually, so I hope it's gonna actually deliver a different experience graphically. But with so many people dropping graphic settings down lower anyway, in order to get more clarity on the maps, I don't know how much value DX11 will actually bring.
Yeah, I honestly, DX11 is one of the things I really just straight up don't care about. So I don't have a ton of info to put out, but it's coming in March. So
what I really hope it brings is with the bringing DX11 and being able to have people swap between 9 and 11 again, we'll finally have mechs that their feet will adjust to the terrain again. Just one of those immersion things that bothers me.
I just want collisions back.
Yeah, destructible terrain would be a lot more interesting for this game too. Imagine if you could use flamers to burn trees and create smoke in order to screen the enemy from sniping your ass.
Yeah, they've already stated that's like way down the line though, because all of that stuff is local side right now, not server side.
When there's processors that can handle all of that.
Yeah, no shit.
Camping on River City won't work because you just burn through their buildings with lasers.
Dude.
Yeah.
Demolish the Citadel.
How cool would it be to
Yeah,
topple the
fuck
building
that
on
Citadel.
top of the mech?
Dude, Air Artie would be even more overpowered.
Wow.
Like, not only can you not stay in that cover doesn't exist anymore.
As nice as it would be, I don't think it would be a good thing from a game perspective.
No, I don't think it would be easier. I would like trees that get knocked over when I run through them, but
I'd like to be able to shoot out bridges on canyon from underneath a mech's feet.
That would be sweet.
Just watch an Atlas try to cross a bridge and be like, nope, Chuck Testa, and just fucking blow out the bridge and watch him fall. Congratulations, you're going to spend 3 minutes trying to get back up there.
Here's a question for Carp, since he was the one who was actually on the public test. Were there frame rate benefits even on low settings?
was so long ago, I honestly can't remember. I bounced around my settings, so I played everything on max to see if I could visually notice a difference. I felt like the water effects were a little bit nicer, if anything, and I don't know if it was even using DX11's tessellation features or anything like that. I think that's probably beyond what they were programming. But if they were able to use the full DX11 specs, I think the environments would look amazing. On low settings, did it help the FPS? Yeah, I do remember that. I remember getting a bump, but visually, I didn't think it was any different.
Okay,
Nothing impacted me.
In that case, then, I think the big impact would be that FPS optimization, especially for the people who have lower quality PCs and just can't play the game right now.
As long as they've got a DX11 card.
Yeah.
As long as they've got that, yeah.
I need more graphics cards. I already have one pretty decent one. I've got a 770? Yeah, 770, but I need another one to actually go like streaming quality and shit, so.
I'm still running a GTX 570, and I'm still getting a VSync and get 60 frames per second with the current UI 2.0.
Oh, what settings do you run?
I've run. Well, actually, let me look at my settings. I'm on here. So the settings I have, if I were to run down the list real quick, let me just go
Mostly
to
like
advanced.
medium and stuff.
Highs and mediums with
Yeah.
post AA on. So
Wow.
about half of my settings are on high and half on medium. And I actually did run it on full high on everything, and it drops me down to about 52 frames a second.
Jesus.
So
God,
the
I
game
need
runs
more RAM.
perfectly fine on a GTX 570, and I was going to upgrade to a 780, but I'm kind of holding off now for 800 series to come out and push the 780 down.
Yeah, that makes sense. Before that, I was running on a fucking 265, so I was struggle busting the whole way. I think we're done. I don't think there's anything else to talk about.
One of the things that I wanted to mention was I mentioned before about the full uninstall and reinstall.
Yep.
The other thing I noticed in the social window, and I'm sure a lot of people have been finding this, that it's hanging when you're trying to invite people or accept an invite. What I learned just by sort of being multitasking was that if you just wait it out, it's just slow right now. So I think the friends list keeps growing as far as like what it thinks are people online. I don't know if you noticed this, but a bunch of people are showing as online, but they're actually offline. Anybody notice that?
Yeah, I had that last night. Jagger thought I was online, and I'd been offline for a solid 2-3 hours at that point.
Right. Did you actually log out, or did you just close MWO?
I closed MWO. You might be onto something.
So I think if you log out, and this is what everybody should be doing, log out, and I think that way you'll actually show as offline in your buddies' friends list, and then you won't bog down other people. But if you just wait, sometimes it takes 30 seconds, sometimes it takes 90 seconds, but you will end up clearing that process. So
it's almost like there's a reason there's a log out button.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind. But try a fresh install. I recommend everybody do a fresh install, because a few guys have said they've definitely had less bugs after doing that.
Well, is the problem at all correlated to the amount of friends you have in the friends list?
I think the more friends that log in, the more it bogs you down, possibly, yeah.
Don't worry, Sarah's like, oh, I just have too many friends.
No, you just have to pick yours more carefully so your client doesn't freeze.
I think you just got called out.
I can't imagine what it's like for people with like 300, 400 people in a unit, and just adding all of that, and then finding out that it slows it down. That must be hell.
Yeah. How many people are finding crash to desktops or full out disconnects?
We had a lot of those tonight in our group.
I couldn't even play because I just kept disconnecting.
I haven't had any issues myself, but a couple of our guys have.
Yeah,
Nothing.
between matches we had
The-
probably 2 or 3 guys had problems.
The only bug I've found is that if you open up the social tab and click create group in the same second, it doesn't allow you to do anything, and if you try and click before it loads your friends list, it crashes the game.
Well, going to the social group was kind of slow for, I think, everybody. But I think some people's systems didn't like that it was taking so long, and so it kept closing the MechWarrior client because of that.
The only thing I've had is I was group lead. I clicked ready and then launch within like a second, and it told me I wasn't ready. So I think there's a certain amount of lag inherent in the system, and something's going weird with how it updates everybody's status.
Yeah, I saw actually once I hit launch and it gave me the error message that you're describing, and then it showed 2 of my 4-man in searching mode. And I'm like, what? But they weren't searching, but it said they were searching.
Well, we've also had people leave group and still be in the group on some people's screen, and we've had people join and not show up. So, like, we've had some people being like, we only have 7 people in group, and the group leader's like, nope, we've got 12. Everybody ready up, we're going.
Yeah. I think that should be high priority, actually, for PGI right now. Is
Yep.
the social
I agree.
functions, because, you know, usability of the interface is a nice to have, but a must have is having a properly working social function, for sure.
I think that's yeah, that's probably what we're ending for tonight. I think that I would have to agree. If we're going to pick one thing, it's make sure the social tab is like fully functioning and working. But other than that, it's a step in the right direction. I'm happy. I mean, I'm not like angry that the UI is out. Oh god damn, how dare there be a UI? So
No, I'm happy. I mean, they're promising a wealth of progress after this, and they seemed in this technical update, they seemed pretty positive that there could be a lot of things coming over the next month or so.
yeah, I'm optimistic, but I always am. So.
And now we just have to deliver.
All right, so we'll save some more clan talk for next week because that's going to be a long conversation. So unless there are any closing thoughts that any of you have, we'll go around and do some shoutouts.
PGI needs to make sure they work on the performance issues that some players are having too. Like right now, if I'm in anything faster than an assault, the game is unplayable for me because it drops to 10 FPS constantly.
Oh, that's really good to know. Okay. All right.
That was the same issue with 12-mans too.
Has there been any discussion on finding the common thread on that? Or is that an isolated issue?
I'm not certain. I've been looking on the forums trying to see, there are a lot of other people who are having the same problem. A lot of people have had fixes with like reinstalls, setting it down to medium settings. Apparently, the advanced options in the graphics menu is currently bugged right now, so you only have the defaults to use, or the preset settings in order to use. For me, for whatever reason, I mean, I reinstalled it, just got it fired up again, and anytime my mech is turning or torso twisting, it stutters crazily, which is impossible with a fire starter, because you move so fast. But
well, one thing I heard was that like low is actually medium, medium is actually high, something along those lines. Like the settings aren't actually what they're described as. So, have you tried playing around with those?
I tried playing around with those. They actually had one of the devs come in and mention that actually wasn't a problem. Initially, apparently, what used to happen in the user config is that the defaults used to be 1 through 4, and with UI 2.0 they are 0 through 3. But he said that there apparently is any correlation with that and the other issues that people are having. So there's just the advanced config right now is bugged to all hell, and people are experiencing a lot of FPS issues, and they're trying to find out why.
All right. Anything else you guys want to bring up?
We want to get quick questions from chat, or just close it out?
Yeah, I just posted to see if there's any questions from the crowd.
Yeah, sure. If anybody has anything from chat has anything they want us to talk about, we'll do that. But otherwise, I think we're good. Alright, that's enough time. Fuck you, chat. No, I'm just kidding. Love you guys.
Gotta give it a couple of seconds.
Well, I mean, we mentioned it, but Carp also posted it in chat, so
True.
I'm sure it's fine if nobody said anything by now. Alright, let's go around and do shoutouts.
I think I'm next.
I think we'll start with Han on the bottom and just go backwards.
Go backwards. Sorry.
Alright, I got 2 shoutouts. My first one goes to Blackstone Knights Crusader Company. These guys have been great, bringing us on board and helping us out and teaching us some stuff, and we're really enjoying our entry into competitive play. We had our first match last week, which was good, and we have our second match tomorrow night, so that's my second shout out to QQ Mercs, who we are playing tomorrow night.
What league is that
Alright.
for?
Good.
Mark.
Baller. Bursinix, my dearest friend, thank you for hosting the stream. Give yourself a shout out, as well as anybody else you want to talk about.
I give myself a shout out. And, I don't know. Mercstar. Yay, Mercstar. Because competitive gaming and information and spiffy site and lots of really cool shit coming really, really, really soon that you guys will love. Including stat trackers and drop deck capabilities.
Oh, that's right, there's a drop deck plugin thing.
Yep.
Right, Neil's writing that, isn't he?
Yeah, Neil's writing the drop deck builder, and Roland is doing the stat tracker, which will be a fully integratable system for any competition that Mercstar supports in the future.
Cool.
And Raffle for
Oh.
posting Mercstar 4 billion times in chat.
I had to beat Siri.
Yeah.
Wait, Siri, can you time out me from my own channel? I don't think you can.
No, I can't.
Good. Had to make sure. Yeah, join MRBC. I personally will be leading a team in MRBC, I believe. So that's gonna be a fun league. But yeah, table, serious table, all hail. Take it away.
Definitely a shout out to the Reddit community for MechWarrior Online and their support they've had in this getting the new, both the new and the old subreddits still up and running the ways that they are. And definitely you guys for even having me on. I didn't think I was worthy of any such thing, but it's been really enjoyable to be here.
Thanks for coming, man. And then next we have Mr. Carpentier.
Hey, just noticed here somebody had said a weekly review of match results, who played who. So I just shot you a link, Raffle in chat. Can you pull that up? This is for Arhad.
Oh yeah.
Put that on screen, guys. So this is our Arhad update. Almost all of week 1 matches have been played. The only one that's still outstanding is actually my team against DigiWeb Drop 1. So throw that up on chat and then I'll talk about it.
Good.
Or
The
not
Verci's
chat, sorry,
handling
up
it,
on
don't worry.
screen. Can you throw that on screen?
It's going.
Verci's working on it, but just I linked it in chat, so give it a talk.
There. Tutor.
All right. I'll
So
just
it's
wait
up
till it
there.
shows
Just give it
up
30
here.
seconds.
So it's a Google Doc. This is available through the Run How to Die forum or on Mercenary Star, and it's an open doc so people can check it at any point. And what I've been doing is I've got a tab for each week showing the pairings and the match results, and then the first tab is an overall standings. Right now I've only got it developed for North America, but I will add the EU component because I had some requests for EU side. So a little bit off center. So right now we had 3 teams with buys. That was Steel Jags, Sword of Cantares, and Blackstone Knights. And because they're the division leaders with their automatic buys, they got placed at the top 3 positions. And then looking at the pairings, I'll save you from having to look at the pairings tab. The League Division 1 drops, Credit versus Apocalypse Lancers. That was played out in Assault, 3-0 win for Credit. HHOD versus CGB Tundra Rough Riders. That was a 3-1 result in Assault mode. Division 2, the Lords beat the Remnant 3-0, and the QQ Mercs Drop 1 Digirev is still outstanding. We're actually playing it on Friday. Division 3, 28th IBR beat Balls of Steel, which is the ex-Blazing Aces spin-off, 3-0 for 228th. And SIG, former Remnant competitive players, beat Clan Widowmaker in a 3-0 skirmish battle. So, going back to, I mean, it's only week 1, so obviously everyone who's won their matches are in the top half bracket. But as the season goes, and I'll just explain this last column, just so you understand what the rationale is for that last column. Drop win percentage is essentially your tiebreakers. So when you have teams with the same amount of points, I track how many drops they actually play and how many drops they won, and so their win percentage out of the number of drops will help as a secondary seeding priority. And so as we get closer to playoffs, that'll become really important. So that's your Run Hard or Die update.
All right, and thank you for that. Siri, I think you're next.
Oh, shout out to Rafflewaffle, who cannot spell Siriwaffle correctly.
Did I seriously spell that shit wrong? No, I didn't. You're trolling me. Fuck
No,
you.
you did. Look, there's an S on the end.
It's plural. There's multiple Siriwaffles.
Oh shit, I spelled it wrong. God damn it.
So this makes like show 15 out of 15 where he has misspelled something. Applause
Man,
to him.
I have to say, if there's gonna be an
And the
error,
title.
I'm okay. Yeah, I fucked that up at the start. If there's gonna be an error, I'm okay with it being spelling.
And
Anyway, go ahead.
As for second shout out, well, just I guess shout out to hopefully a continued development of all the things we need, and that they continue to come out on time and as predicted with no further setbacks. If we can get that, then I think we're back on track.
I agree. All right, and that makes it my turn.
Wait. I never got to do my shout out. I just talked about Arhad.
Oh, balls. Shit, sorry. Carp.
Shout out to whoever gave me the construction worker image, because I don't have a webcam on my damn computer.
That's
You're welcome.
She did that. It's a good man.
I do actually.
He kind of looks like a carpenter.
He was the first image when I typed in Carpenter.
Yep.
Well, the first funny image that popped up in Carpenter.
I do actually have a third and final shout out, unless Raffle was already doing this.
No, go ahead.
Next Tuesday is the game between Swords of Kentaras and Blackstone Knights. It's the losers bracket final of the RI tournament, and that's going to be a good one. Blackstone Knights are looking for revenge after Swords of Kentaras knocked them down into losers bracket in the first place. So, bit of a grudge match. Good teams. We'll be casting it. Tune in for that.
Oh shit, yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I believe it's 6 or 6:30 Pacific on Tuesday the 11th.
Fuck. God damn it. Everything is on Eastern. Just do Eastern.
West Coast, Best Coast, shut up.
God damn it. The thing is just like I live on Central, so nobody actually gives a fuck about me, but okay,
well,
yeah.
Then we can agree on that.
Oh. Alright, so that does indeed finally make it my turn. I've got a few different things to talk about. First off is the Merrick Civil War Tracker. Queen Blade of the 228th is doing an awesome job with help from a bunch of different people. So many people that I don't remember all of their names. I don't want to forget any of them. I think Verci is one of them.
Oh, you're talking about getting that stat tracker?
Yeah.
Myself, Pika, Greem, and the big one is Marcus Rowland. All
Okay.
228 guys, but Marcus is actually building a plugin for Mercstar that'll be able to track it that way. For Arhad and MRBC and Merrick and all those kind of things, we'll be able to have lots of different options and plugins, and then everyone will be able to see the stuff, and it'll be completely editable just by the Mercstar staff, and it'll be awesome. It's going to be so good. We'll have to probably touch it up over a period of time, but it'll be really cool.
It's crazy fucking cool. It tracks every pilot in the entire Merrick campaign. So it's really cool. I linked that in chat. Everybody feel free to check it out. It's going to be really awesome. So that's my first shout out. My second shout out is, as Siri mentioned, next week on Tuesday we will be canceling casting BSK versus SWK, which should be a really good match. They're both very, very good teams, so looking forward to that. The other news is I am trying to expand content, so I'm going to bring more and more casted matches, everything like that to this channel. So this is going to be a place where hopefully you're going to be able to come most times of the day and see a match or a rebroadcasted match. So look for that in the future in the next couple of weeks. And I hate doing it, but it does cost me money to do some of these things, and I'm looking on getting a couple extra casters, and I would like to be able to pay anybody that contributes to my stream. So if you're rich, like some people in the MWO community are, feel free to donate to War Room Networks on the bottom of my stream. Wow. But I appreciate everybody's support so far. This is really fun for me, and stuff like UI 2.0 has only increased my drive to improve my content and put more shit out there. So thank you everybody for being on the show tonight. Thank you everybody for stuck with me for the whole goddamn time. I appreciate all the viewership. Videos will be up on YouTube, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday for SWK versus BSK. Thank you very much. Verci, close it out.
That and
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.